Trueish crime has mature subject matter. Listener discretion is advised. Tonight on Trueish crime, the story of D.B. Cooper, a.k.a. Dan Cooper, a.k.a. Dale Cooper, a.k.a. Old Dirty Bastard, a.k.a. Dirt McDirt, a.k.a. Sean Carter, a.k.a. Jay-Z, a.k.a. D.B. Cooper. On November 24th, 1971, a man bought a one-way ticket for a flight to Seattle. The man seemed mild-mannered, perhaps a little nervous, but nothing too extreme. Minutes into the flight, he gave the stewardess a note. Thinking it was another guy wanting to get lucky, she slid in her pocket. "Miss," he said, "you might want to read the note. June Appleby takes it from here." Well, I remember it being a very special day for me. It was my 1-year anniversary with the company. I got on the plane and someone gave me a little cupcake with "Happy Anniversary, Miss Apple Pie." And I was so happy, and it was so nice. And it was gonna be a short flight. It's just Portland to Seattle. It's got to be easy. And we sit everyone in, and everyone gets their drinks. And I brought this guy a bourbon with 7-Up, and he seemed to be okay. And he handed me this note, and I thought it was one of those guys, one of those guys that want to take me for a drink when we get there, and maybe go back to his room, whatever. I put it in my pocket, no big deal. I didn't make a scene. I just, I smiled. I was polite. And he just said, "Miss, I think you need to read that note." Well, I opened it up, and it said that he had a bomb. So my heart just kind of missed a step. And then I look back, and he just kind of nods. And he kind of motions for me to sit next to him. So I sit next to him, try to figure out what's going on so that I can tell people. And he has this black suitcase with him, little briefcase. And I ask him, "Is the bomb in there?" And he opens it up, and it looks like a bomb, and there's some red sticks and some wires. It looks like a bomb. And he says, "Let the captain know, and I'll let you get back. We'll get back to it in terms of demands." So I go up to the cockpit, and I just let him know. I come back because he just said, "Well, just find out what he needs. Just everyone be calm. Do not act as though this is anything going on with the other customers." So I go back to the seat, and I sit next to him, and he gives me another sheet of paper, and that one's got a list of what he wants, and it's like a lot of money, like $200,000. He wants a couple of parachutes and a duffel bag and cigarettes, and because I noticed at this point he is chain smoking, like just cigarette after cigarette after cigarette. But we're just trying to make sure that everyone's calm. So I give the note to the captain, and he calls in the demands, and then we end up landing at SeaTac. At Seattle, the plane was refilled, the money and parachutes received, and another pack of cigarettes were smoked. Once settled, D.B. Cooper gave the next destination, Mexico City, with an in-air refuel if needed. 35 minutes later, D.B. Cooper jumped from the plane into the night sky. You won't believe what happens next. We'll return to Trueish crime after these messages. I'm a man who works with his hands. I work with steel and iron and gravel and grease. Stuff that's tough on your body and makes your hands real dirty. And by the end of the day, I need those hands clean. the lady won't let me in the house if I don't. And that's why I use Uncle Roy's special soap to get them nice and clean and soft. Uncle Roy's, an old-fashioned formula for today's grease and grime. Hi folks, Anthony here. Usually when I'm in a new town, I look for local restaurants. But sometimes I want the familiar. That's why I go to JoJo's Diner. Good warm food served with a smile. Solid, nourishing American-style cooking. They make a turkey leg with stuffing, gravy, and all the fixing. Take me back to Mom's cooking. Why don't you go by and visit? I bet you'll find a lot of good stuff there on the menu. Now, they're having a special coming up. Blue Light Special. $5.95. That's right, $5.95. They're not even making a profit, are they? You get a choice of soup, you get a chicken noodle, you can have whatever they have for the day. You can have toast, bread, crackers, toasted for no charge. Dish of pickles, bring it right to y'all. Some coleslaw, and of course you get the entree, your choice of chicken, meatloaf, or fresh fish. And that you get potatoes, choice of 2 vegetables, your coffee, tea, soft drink, whatever with your meal. And dessert, wonderful desserts. And like I said, $5.95. Can you beat that? I don't think you can. So go over to your local JoJo's for good, solid food. You'll be happy to leave a tip for your waitress. I know I always do. I go as often as I can. Tell them Anthony sent you. And now, the conclusion of Trueish crime. D.B. Cooper jumped into the night, possibly into a lake or trees. About 3 hours later, a grocery store near Hyson, Washington was robbed. While no money was stolen, survival items like beef jerky, gloves, hot coffee, and unfiltered Pall Mall cigarettes were. Then, nothing. The residents of the Pacific Northwest went back to their lives. In 1980, some of the bills were found near the Columbia River, but nothing came of it. The FBI officially ended its investigation in 2016. Then, a local newspaper received a curious phone call. Baxter McGinnis was the one manning the phone. The following is an interview with KJAB in 2019.
So I was at my normal work desk, and I don't remember what day it was. It was a Tuesday, I think, when I get this call from this older woman who says she'd like to talk to a reporter, and I just say, yes, ma'am, I'm Baxter. I take care of all the things here. What can I help you with? And she started telling me this tale of D.B. Cooper and him jumping from the plane and all the things you already know, but there were little details that not only were not released to the press or anything, but also just you had to know the area. Like you had to know that the old Highway 47 used to be called Old Highway 102 and a half. By the not official, of course, but by the residents. 102 and a half. You gotta go down. So I took the notes down and I assigned it to somebody. I don't remember who, and they just nothing happened with it. They looked at it. They didn't see. It was a younger kid, I think, so they didn't see the value. They don't know who Cooper was. So, and then, she calls again and starts talking like, why haven't I heard from anybody? And, starts talking about, how upset she is. But I start to notice something, that not only is she using these arcane references, like I said, the highway for one, but she's talking about herself in the first person in this. Like, I was the one that jumped and yada yada, and like, you can start hearing after a certain point her raspiness, like, like she smoked 1,000 cigarettes in her life. So again, I started writing it down. I gave it to the same person. I said, "This is important." Nothing ever happened to it. And then we just kind of moved on because it's the news business, and that's what you do.
Sadly, Baxter McGinnis died in 2021 of complications from COVID, and his notes were lost. Ultimately, It appears as though the truth may never be told. Until then, DB or Dan or Dirt McDirt or whatever his name is will stay a legend. Good luck, wherever you are. Trueish Crime is a production of 10.5 Speed Bicycles. The director is Juan Valdez. The Picnic Basket Thieves are Boo Boo and Yogi Bear. Some ads by Eric Bogosian. Thanks for listening. Bye now.